Hello, all you wonderful Rise of Kingdoms players out there. This is Dragothien here, and today we're going to continue our Commander Battle Card series. That's what I'm going to be calling this. I actually really like this. It gives you an idea of what type of commander you want to be, what type of player you want to be, and which commanders you should use because of that. So if you want to be more survivable, if you want to be more tanky, this series should allow you to pick the right commanders that you want to have. If you want to be more group-oriented, or if you want to have just a little bit more to yourself, this should also help you. This is what we're going to be doing going forward for a little while. I like this series a lot. And we're going to be comparing like-minded commanders, so you can choose which one that you want to play with. So this edition will be Alexander versus Richard. Now, both of these are fairly early commanders. Alexander is a little farther along. However, Richard obviously is an early wheel commander now. You used to be able to get him in the gold chest, but that was a long time ago. Sad faces all around for him being removed from the gold chest. However, this is what we're going to be going up against because a lot of people have both of these commanders and they want to know which ones they should max, if they need to max, and that kind of thing. And I've replaced the fourth criteria, the fourth category, with need to max instead of 5551 or 5511. I'll talk a little bit about what you can use these commanders at as far as unmaxed, but I want you to know if you necessarily need to max him, to use him to the full advantage that you need to max him at, or her, whichever commander we're talking about. So in this case, we have two gentlemen here, very infantry oriented. Let's go ahead and jump into it. I'm going to do the same thing that I've been doing in the last one, where I kind of reveal them as we go down, who's going to win the category. Kind of like a boxing battle card, this is going to be the commander battle card. So for damage, which one is going to be better for damage, Alexander or Richard? I think this comes as no surprise. We're going to scroll down, and Alexander is going to win the damage category just simply because he has an extra nuke on his second skill. A lot of his skills are very attack oriented. You definitely want to use Alexander in rally situations as a primary or a secondary. Don't use him in a garrison because a lot of his skills are while on the map only. However, his damage capability as an infantry commander is very, very good. Pairing him up with YSG, with Sun Tzu, with Guan as a secondary, Alex as a secondary to Guan. That's what you're going to want to have if you want to have that damage synergy. Richard is very much a healing, tanky, defensive commander. He's not built to be heavy, heavy damage. He will cause damage on the battlefield by just simply surviving his opponents. That's the idea behind it. It tends to come with a fairly decent hospital report for you and your opponent, but you do tend to outlast. So if you want tankiness, again, as we go to the second category, you're going to want to go with Richard. If you want damage, you want to go with Alexander. Richard, of course, is probably the most survivable commander by himself on the battlefield. He adds survivability to any pairing that he comes in contact with. You can pair him with pretty much anybody as a second, and that pairing will just be more survivable. The heal is amazing. He has a one-of-a-kind heal. There's no other commander that has a heal this large consistently. Obviously, Constantine does have a larger heal, but it's only one time, and it's once per hour, and all these different criteria, whereas Richard, that's his active skill. He just keeps firing off heals nonstop. And again, that can be great, or it can work to your disadvantage if you're in a garrison situation, for instance, that's not arc-based. I don't recommend using Richard in a garrison situation unless it's arc. Also, just in general, the more you heal, right, the more severely wounded you're going to tend to get, because simply you're out there for longer. You're bringing back slightly wounded to get attacked again. So just by definition, you're going to have a little bit of a more hurtful battle report for you. However, again, a lot of times that's worth it based on actually defeating your opponent and having troops on the field while your opponent doesn't. So let's move on to versatility. Versatility was a little bit of a interesting one. So I gave them both the check. All right, I give them a little bit of a tie. Again, we just talked about it. Both of these commanders can be used as combinations with other commanders, with almost anybody. Alexander brings a lot of versatility to the field. The attack bonuses, at least the fourth one is not specifically for infantry, so you can use the attack bonus with any type of troop. And then again, his nuke is not infantry specific, so you can use that as well. And again, his shield, his primary skill, is also not infantry specific, so you can use him with basically any type of commander, and he will do great things. Alexander YSG, for instance, again, very, very solid. You can do YSG Alexander with full archers and be just fine there too. A little less tanky, a little more squishy, but still doable. But that's just because archers are squishy in general. Richard, same thing. He can be used as a second to basically any commander, and he makes them super tanky. He makes them super healthy because of his heal. His heal is universal. So both of these commanders have versatility in their back pocket. I think that you can use these commanders with anybody that you want, and you'll be in really good shape on the battlefield. I think if you want, again, more damage, you go Alex. If you want more survivability, you go Richard. All right, now need to max. Let's talk about this. Need to max. Another little fishy one. Richard, I would say no, you don't need to max him. Of course, it's better to max him, right? Of course, any commander that's going to be on this battle card series, it's better to max them. But is it necessary? Richard doesn't necessarily have a game-breaking expertise. I think Richard, like 5-2-3-2 or 5-4-3-5 or something like that, is very good. And at 85% functionality, the expertise, while it is helpful, it is not game-breaking. You don't need it. You don't absolutely need it, okay? So feel free to use your Richard at 5-4-3-2 or 5-5-1-1 or 5-5-5-1 or whatever combination you have that's not maxed. Feel free to use him. But of course, Richard is better maxed just simply because he's going to have higher stats. He's going to have more bonuses. That's just the way it works, right? Alexander. I put yes and no here for a reason. So for your own purposes, you don't necessarily need to max him. His third and fourth skill, specifically his fourth skill, is actually his best skill, guys. It's not his second skill where you have that damage factor. That's nice and everything, but the attack bonuses is really where, in my opinion, Alexander shines. His third and fourth skills both provide attack bonuses, 1 to infantry, 1 to universal, and I think ultimately, again, as his shield's up, you also do get that defense bonus from the fourth skill too. It's just, he doesn't necessarily need to be maxed if it's just for you. But if you want to use him, this goes into the next setting. If you want to go into a group situation where you're trying to benefit your alliance as much as possible, you do need to max him because his expertise is a big change from not being expertise. Being able to provide that group functionality, that group shield functionality, and the AoE damage stuff, that's really, really, really nice to have. And again, if I was to pick, if I had both of these commanders at 5-5-1-1 or 5-5-3-2 or whatever, right? And I wanted to pick which commander I wanted to max first, it would definitely be Alex because of his special expertise. He has something special that no other commander has the ability to provide. He has an AoE shield for the lowest damage member, or lowest health member, and then he also has an AoE damage debuff. So it's very, very nice to have, and you want to have that functionality on the battlefield. And again, that goes into the next category that we're about to jump into, but that's what I want you guys to know and pull away from this category. Should you max him, or is it okay to use him, unmaxed? And ultimately, both of these commanders are usable unmaxed. I think Alexander, you want to go, again, something like 5-3-3-3 or something to that effect. I like those third and fourth skills more than the second skill, although the second skill is nice. But really, to maximize Alexander's functionality, you want to max him. He's the one you want to max out of these two commanders. Now, finally, the last category. Is this commander for self, really just benefiting you, or is this commander for the group as well? Let's take a peek. And I might need to scooch over a little bit here again. Okay, so again, we've got Richard over here on the right as self. Now, again, is there an inherent benefit to Richard for the group? Well, yeah, kinda, right? Again, we just talked about how tanky he is, right? Well, if he's tanky, he's taking more damage away from your group mates, right? But a lot of people nowadays, they know how tanky Richard is, and unless you've got a huge nuking swarm, which a lot of people do, you don't necessarily target Richard very often. So if you see Richard on the battlefield, you just kind of leave him alone and target all the damage dealers, like Alex, like YSG, like Genghis, like John Dragupta and William now, and all those things. And you leave Richard alone till the very end because, again, like we said before, he's not exactly the heaviest damage dealer. He just survives. He just tanks there. And he does cause damage, but it's not necessarily mind-blowing damage. So he is a self commander in a sense that he doesn't really provide any group utility per se, but inherently in the background, if for some reason you've got some inexperienced players around you and they are targeting Richard instead of targeting your YSG, then that's helpful. That's group helpful, right? Alexander's a little bit more direct with the group benefits. We just talked about it, right? He's got the AoE shield. He's got the damage functionality that provides the debuffs in the AoE area there, up to 3 or 5 targets. I can't remember which one. But he's got all that functionality for the group. That all benefits the group. That benefits your alliance. That benefits anybody that's attacking in that area. And again, shielding the lowest health member of your alliance right beside you, that is always very helpful. This guy is a group guy. You guys know that I prefer alliance / kingdom helping commanders versus just me commanders, or very niche style commanders like Edward and Tamiris and things like that. So I prefer commanders like Alexander. So if I had to give the one that I would recommend that you guys pick to max out and really focus on, Alexander over Richard, just make sure you get Richard's first skill maxed out to 5. Everything else on top of that is going to be gravy, but Alexander you want to max out because of his versatility, because of his survivability or damage, and he is a little bit survivable, and also, again, his group utility. That's the main thing that I want you to take away from this. Alexander's your group guy that really benefits everybody. Richard's really powerful, but again, he's really just for yourself, and very powerful as well, but if you want to have that extra functionality for your group, Alexander's the way to go. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. We're going to continue this series as we go along. I'll see you guys next time. Cheers. Have a good one. Take care.